Hey everybody, welcome back to Kicking in the Second Half, KISH YZ. I'm your host D. Back again, we got another episode for you. Say what up to my co-host, and my co-host say what up to the people.
Hey, what up, people?
Yeah, hey, thanks for coming back, man. We got to talk about this is episode 24. I wanted to save this for episode 25 because the 25th episode, but why not make 24 special? Shout out to the Black Mama, bro. Shout out to Kobe. So that's why I was hyped to do this for episode 24. It was Gianna's birthday the other day. I think it was May 1st. So yeah, why not do it for episode 24, bro? Hashtag Mamacita, shout out to that new gear. I saw those hoodies and they look pretty dope. So, but yeah, let's get into it, man. MVPs, that's what we're talking about. Who you got anything you want to introduce out there? You were mumbling something before we started recording. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you, bro?
NBA.com tripping, bro. Hey, whoever's listening to this, when D reads this list, pay attention to who's a 7. Can you tell me if you think this list is legit or not? I think it's a joke, boy. Somebody don't know what they're talking about.
If you're watching this for the first time, please give us a subscribe to our channel to see what we have out here as far as content, and stay notified by turning the notification bell on for when we do new drops. We not only do the podcast, we do shoes, which is basically sneakers. We do debates, we do PPFs, which are very popular, which is where we break down basically the past, present, and future of a particular player that we're covering in its own segment. And yeah, like I said, those are pretty fun to do. And yeah, and then some other things we're expanding on, like what ifs, and also PTOs, which we just introduced last week, which is a personal takeover of a franchise or team from like a GM president standpoint. But yeah, Hugh, yeah, you're mumbling over there, number 7 for the MVP list. So yeah, this list came from NBA.com. So let's just give y'all the standard what's out there. Not every site's going to be the same, but this is from NBA.com as of April 20th. Oh no, wait a minute, April 30th. So the end of last week or in the middle of last week, whatever. So number one, Nikola Jokic. All right, Denver. We know who he is. Number 2, Joel Embiid from Philly. Number 3, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Milwaukee Bucks there. 4, Chris Paul, Phoenix Suns. 5, Luka Doncic with the Dallas Mavericks. So that's the top 5 right there. So, he's not mumbling over there anything with the top 5. Let's get to the bottom 5 because this was a list of the top 10. And number 6, we got Damian Lillard. Shout out to the Portland Trailblazers. Also, shout out to Zach Hammer. You can catch him on the Tavern Geek podcast occasionally. He's a co-host as well as myself over there. That's headed up by Micah. Shout out to Micah. But yeah, look up the Tavern Geek. I'll post a card up here and y'all can click on that if you want to check out that podcast. Like I said, I'm on there occasionally. But yeah, he's a big Portland fan. Number 7. Number 8, Julius Randle, New York Knicks there. Number 9, Rudy Gobert. Number 10, okay, Rudy Gobert, Utah Jazz. Shout out to DeJountis. What up, bro? Number 10, Devin Booker, Phoenix Suns. Once again, Phoenix is on there twice. And shout out to Tavern Geek again because Mike is a big, huge Phoenix Suns fan. So to see, 2 MVP caliber players, potentially 2 all-star players this year, number 1, number 2 in the West. I mean, this is a great year for him being a Phoenix Suns fan. But let's go back to number 7. Who was number 7? You.
Steph Curry.
Oh, man, you sound miserable over there. You got allergy problems?
No, I just ain't happy about it.
Why you ain't happy? He's on the list. Should be happy.
This is at 7.
Oh, bro, wait till we get on this later on. I'll tell you who's not on the list, and that doesn't make me happy about it.
I know who that is. I already know.
Well, you going to spoil the surprise? Who is it?
I ain't going to say it.
Who? Go ahead.
You want me? Russell Westbrook.
Damn it. Yeah,
See,
Russell Westbrook.
I mean, I know, bro. I know.
Yeah, you know me. Hey, yeah. I mean, come on, bro. Let's just start right there. Okay, we can backtrack here. Let's just start out with, okay, let's get through some of the boring stuff and just go straight to the interesting thing. So overall, we would probably almost unanimous agree that Nikola Jokic would probably be the MVP. Do you think he's your MVP? Like overall, like you think he's going to get the MVP? Like, what do you think is going to happen there?
Yeah, I made my own top 10 list, and I got him at number 1 still.
Okay, so let's just cut through that because that's what you see if you Google MVP. It's him on top of every leaderboard. So move past that. Let's say Nikola Jokic, you got the MVP. The only way we can spice this up is like if I ask you, do you think he could be the second unanimous MVP in league history?
I doubt unanimous. I doubt that. I could see it, but I doubt it. I don't think he's been that. I don't think he's been that dominant. The dude's a baller, but he's been consistent playing a lot of games. But I still wouldn't think he'd be completely unanimous.
Okay, so let's skip past that. We can get back to that. So yeah, let's go straight into the juicy part. Let's stick the fork in it and see if it's done. The real MVP. You want to do your list because I did not do a list, so that's interesting. But you could do your list because I want to get down to who is your real MVP. So take Jokic out the equation because every year, sure, there's some fan out there, somebody out there. Even if the guy gets the MVP, let's go back to Steph Curry's unanimous MVP season. Somebody gets the MVP every year. And then there's always that one, maybe two guys, depending on who you are, that you feel like, man, that dude should have been the MVP. So that's what this is going to be about. Not who looks like they're going to be MVP based off media and NBA, who we think is the MVP, the real MVP. So Hugh, give us your list, bro.
All right, bro. A second, I got Steph Curry.
Oh, dang, man. You starting from the top down. I thought you said you had a list of 10. I was waiting for the suspense.
Okay.
You killed me.
All right,
I mean, you really stuck the fork in it, though. Like, you cut it open.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's a good steak, you didn't need A1, but you got, like, the potato on the side. You're already diving into the sides.
Hey,
you want to refill in your drink.
I wasn't thinking. Yeah, I wasn't thinking. All right, I'm going to start at 10 now. I'm going to go back to 10.
All right, let's go.
At 10, there's two guys I have on this list that isn't on the first one, the one on NBA.com you wrote, and those guys are at 9 and 10 for me. But at 10, bro, you're probably not gonna like this one, but I got Kawhi Leonard. I got Kawhi. I took out Booker. I just feel like CP3 means a lot more to that team and stuff like that. We've seen what that team looks like when just Booker runs it and they usually don't even make the playoffs. So, so I took him out, and yeah, Kawhi, man. I mean, if you look at his numbers, I mean, he's putting up, just as good as numbers and everything else. I mean, I feel like he might be on this list if he hasn't recently missed a handful of games. But yeah, I mean, I think he's done enough. He's an amazing defender and stuff like that. We all know who Kawhi is, but yeah, I got him at 10. At 9, I got your boy Russell Westbrook. I think it's disrespectful that he ain't on this list. He's averaging a triple-double. Did you see what he did tonight?
I saw what he did tonight. He was back and forth on the floor, and then did his little thing. It might be on Shaq in the full. I don't care, man. It's dope. They won, right?
Yeah, they won 151 to 141. I mean, they put up 151 points.
Play defense there for me.
Yeah, for real, wow. Bro.
You say, are you rich?
But yeah, I mean, he's. I mean, if you would have asked me, All-Star break, whatever, he wouldn't probably be in my top 20 to be honest. But I mean, the way he's balling lately, like today, he only put up I think 14 points. But it's not just his scoring, man. It's everything he does. He just facilitates that whole offense. He
There's only
crashes
really
the boards better
thing.
than big man.
It's only really one thing he could do wrong, and that's having a bad field goal percentage night. Outside of that, I'll take Russ any night, bro.
Yeah, but dude, that's what I'm saying. He only, he's only putting up, like I said, 14 points tonight. I mean, he ain't really need to score. I mean, the dude. I mean, I'm fine with him shooting 4 for 10 every night. If he can put up, 24 assists and 21 rebounds. I mean, those are crazy numbers. Centers don't even get that many rebounds. Like Capella'd be lucky to get them.
Point guards don't
you
get
got
that
Russell
many
Westbrook.
assists.
You got Russell Westbrook here getting that, and then 24 assists. 24 assists, bro. That just it blows my mind. So yeah, I mean, I definitely think Russ. I don't think he's.
We're watching a generational player right there. You said it the most. I mean, look at those numbers. I mean, if you go and look, I checked this Instagram. He posted some stuff up there, but the only player to do it twice with the 20 plus boards and assists. Bro, that is crazy, man. We're witnessing history, even if it is broken down the road. Like, there's nobody else doing that right now. Like, nobody. Ain't nobody doing it, bro.
I feel you. But yeah, I mean, it's extremely impressive. So yeah, I got him at 9. I just thought, he's a player that should definitely be being talked about. And eighth, so the rest of these people are on this list. I mixed up the order a little bit. I think a couple of guys are the same, but at eighth I got Luka. I dropped him a good bit.
You did drop him a good bit.
I mean, Luka's a great player, but me personally, he's wildly inconsistent. And when he's wildly inconsistent, the Dallas Mavericks are wildly inconsistent. And we've seen them go have
what about that digging,
highs
though?
and lows.
What about that digging or backfilling, however you want to say it? That hole that they were dug, that was dug, and then them climbing out of the hole. Where are they right now? They're like tied for fifth or something, or like they got the tiebreaker for fifth.
They're fifth. Yeah.
I mean, because they were like 10th when we started doing these podcasts, right? Like they were like 9th, 10th. He's doing something.
And you know, he's done a lot of it without Porzingis. So I mean, he's still on the list. I mean, you know, I give him credit, but
what makes it more worthy right there.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give him credit. I just think the guys above him it's hard to beat out, in my opinion. But at 7, I got CP3.
Okay.
I think, you know, like I touched on earlier, I mean, Booker's playing amazing, and NBA had him at 10 on their list. But I mean, we've seen that team year in and year out with Booker, and they don't even make the playoffs. And you know, CP3 comes, obviously, you know, they made a couple more moves and stuff like that. But CP3 comes, and right now they're first in the West. I mean, that just speaks volumes, you know. Like you said, or your bud said, or somebody said recently, I remember hearing somebody say, it says every team CP3 goes when they get better. And it's just, I don't think the dude gets near enough credit. You know, if you look at his stat line, this ain't a guy that you just look at his stat line. You're like, yeah, MVP. It's more or less what he does on the court, how he makes everyone around him better. Like kind of like people talk about LeBron. Like he kind of has that ability, in my opinion, and that, you know, that's more the stat. So he ain't really a stat guy. I mean, his assists are nice. But...
Shout out to your bud 36 out there on Twitch. He's a gamer. But yeah, we both kind of talked about that. I think I probably went into some detail with you, but yeah, we both said that, bro. I mean, that's just what he does and what he brings to the team. Like, I think I showed you something on IG where every team he went to had a better record, you know, after he left the Pelicans, maybe except for when he came to OKC. But that's, you know, part of that is we have Paul George and Russell Westbrook, and then transitioning to the Shai Gilgeous era here that we have, and then CP3 being added there. So that might be the only exception, but we still made the playoffs unexpectedly last year because of that. So, I mean, that counts as well. And then, man, obviously I can't say it enough with the Phoenix Suns and what he's done for the Phoenix Suns, because they had a chance to make it into the playoffs last year. They went 8-0 in the bubble, but it's just the record wasn't good enough from before COVID. So they had a hole there and they just couldn't get out of it. So yeah, they look like they could have been obviously towards the bottom end of the seedings for the play-in tournament and then making the playoffs. But to be where they're at now, you have to say that that's where it's at. It's CP3. The ball is in his hands and he's doing work with it, bro. Let's continue. I want to get back on him, but you go ahead with your list.
Yeah. So at 6, I got the same guy. I have Dame. I wanted to put him higher, but my top 5 personally was hard to beat out. I mean, Dame, you know, Dame's Dame. I mean, Dame's Dame, you know, probably the most, you know, underappreciated, disrespected dude in the league, where people don't get him credit. And he's probably a little too low on this list, if I'm being honest. It was just hard for me to actually, I had him 5th, but I switched him. I had him 5th, but I switched him with who I have 5th now. But I mean, just mainly, you know, I think it was extremely impressive when McCollum went out.
I want to get back to him too. Games. Why don't you just go ahead and fill out all the way back up to 2, and then we can go into it. Because I want to see who else you got in front of him, and then maybe we can backtrack here and figure out where you went wrong.
5th is Julius Randle.
Okay.
4th is Giannis. 3rd is Embiid. 2nd is Curry.
So Curry is your MVP. That's what I want to get to. Curry is your MVP. Take out Jokic. Take out Jokic. It's like you're looking at it like, hey man, who's that guy that should have been MVP?
Yeah, take out Jokic, and I got Curry. But hey, let me ask you something. I just want your opinion here. You ain't a Warriors fan. You ain't a real big Curry fan. Nothing like that, right? But tell me one thing, D. 7 is disrespectful to him. Do you agree with me on that? 7 is
disrespectful, man. If you would have asked me about 2 weeks ago, or a week and a half ago, when I was coming up with this episode, and I probably would have had him where you had him. I probably would have made an argument for him to be number 1 at that point, but 7 is disrespectful when I'm just feeling like maybe some of these guys are carrying the weight on the NBA list that they have here because of their name. I mean, Do you want to go back and talk about any of these guys, or kind of it's like a free conversation now?
Free conversation. I don't really care, to be honest.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, I'm going to factor in for MVP is not just the wins, not just the points per game, but their performance. And obviously, the biggest thing is how much this player in particular contributes to their team, because it's the most valuable player in the NBA. But it should be how much value they have for their team as well. And yeah, I mean, with Steph Curry, they wouldn't be where they're at without him, obviously. I mean, yeah, Draymond Green is there doing his thing, but we've seen what Draymond Green is without Steph Curry and or Klay Thompson last year. He plays a certain role for a certain system, and Steph Curry is a big part of that system. But to have Kelly Oubre, who was shooting what he was shooting at the beginning of the season, and still have the record you have now and still climbing, like they went from like out of the play-in to okay at the bottom of the play-in now. You know, they're still in the play-in. They're like number 9, or are they 8 now?
Eight.
I don't know.
8.
They're 8, bro. 8. So you're still in the play-in, but like in a traditional sense, eighth is 8th. You know, if it wasn't for the play-in tournament, that's crazy. You're in the West, like that's huge. And then you know, you want to touch on this too. You know, what the numbers he was putting up over the last month, the month of April. You want to add anything to that? You got some numbers?
Yeah.
Or you
Yeah.
remember what you told me earlier?
Yeah, hold on. I just want to talk about something else too. You know, thinking about MVP, when I made my original list, I had Embiid at 2 and Curry at 3. But I was thinking more about it. I mean, I was trying not to be biased here, but I was thinking more about it. And I said, well, here's the thing. I remember earlier this year when Embiid missed some games, the Sixers were still winning most of those games. I know they didn't win all those games. I think he missed 10 games, I think. And I think they still had a winning record over those 10 games. So while obviously we know how dominant he is on the floor, you know, even his team can still make do without him. Now, 100%, I think if Curry didn't play this season, if he had an injury like Klay out all year, I think the Warriors would be in the worst team in the league. Like honestly, we saw, you know, Curry sat, you know, for like 2 weeks with his tailbone injury, and I mean they just went down quick. I don't think they got any other guy that can step up. So yeah, just Curry himself makes them an A seed right now. So that's why I bumped him. But yeah, man, I mean the dude, you know, just recently became the leading scorer in Warriors history. I mean, he had 11 straight games with 30 points or more. He had, what was it, 72 threes in how long a span? A month span? No, that don't sound right. 2 week span? Something, I don't know. Broke a record. He broke the record for most threes in 3 games in a row, something like that. Like all these different 3-point records, these scoring records, these 30-point in a row. I mean, all within the last month. I saw today they won. They played New Orleans and he put up 42, something like that, like 8-9 threes again. Like it's becoming light work for this guy, man. It's like he's nothing. He's just shooting them and laughing. He's running away before it even goes to the net. Like he knows. But yeah,
I mean,
man,
this
that
is
boy's
like
hot.
a
And I'm really trying not to
very
be biased.
relaxed season for him. Like you know, you get to see him play at his best, but not too much added pressure because you know you're without Steph. I mean, sorry, you're without Klay Thompson out there. So you know, it's not like the team with the last year when they had Durant, where you know you get that pressure of you had to perform at a certain expectation because it's like win or bust. Like here, you're winning by making it to the playoffs. Like that's a big win because you know that hey, I'm adding another all-star player, like superstar player next season if all goes well.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's really playing in this game in this form. Like it's crazy. Like he's re-peaked, even though you know this typically would be like the decline of somebody's peak. Like he's re-peaking. That's crazy.
Yeah, and you think without Klay, you know, all the defensive pressure focused on him would make him, you know, his numbers worse. But I mean, they're
I thought
freaking
that too
amazing.
going into the season, to be honest, but then I didn't realize how much he had bulked up. Off season is very important, and they had a lot of off season since they didn't get to go to Orlando last year because of how bad their record was. So no fatigue, had a long off season. Like, bro, that really paid off as far as injury protection too.
Yeah, and just one other thing I want to touch on. I mean, I don't know, you know, if our viewers know or not, but recently he surpassed Bradley Beal for the leading scorer in the NBA this season. So yeah, Curry.
I didn't know that. So thank you for telling me.
Well, see, it happened for one game, and then Bradley Beal put up like upper 30s, and Curry had like the one game he didn't score 30, and Bradley Beal took back over. But then like the very next game, Curry took it back over, and then it's been that way for like a week now. Like Bradley Beal today, I think he said he only put up like 20 couple, and Curry put up 42. So I think there's actually a bigger gap there now than it was. But yeah, Curry's a leading scorer now. and in the league. I mean, that could always change if Bradley Beal gets hot again. But Bradley Beal, everybody knows he was, holding that for so long this year. But yeah, Curry just surpassed that from him about a week ago or so.
Yeah, shout out to that. That's going to be a kind of a battle to watch out for, because Bradley Beal does need to score, obviously, because the way they're playing in the East over there in the Washington Wizards, they do need to keep winning games, and they need to keep that momentum to go into the play-in tournament if that's where they end up to be. And same thing with Steph Curry and the Warriors. He has to keep scoring and keep that rhythm going. And I think it's going to be a battle. I think, obviously, players, they're not going to say too much in the media, but they check the stats. They know what's going on in the league. They see other players play and what's going on. So that kind of usually should motivate a great player to play great.
Yeah, but we ain't got to spend all this time on Curry. I'm about done talking about him. That's just all I have to say. I mean, I really with my stuff, I really try not to be biased with him. Like I really tried just looking at the stats, but I really do think
you grew up watching these. You grew up
at least
watching
close to MVP.
That's your team.
Second.
These are the guys you idolize. You've seen Steph Curry get back-to-back MVP and one unanimous MVP. I mean, that's the reason why you're biased. I mean,
yeah, but before, like you said, like before, like 2 weeks ago, like he might have been like 5th, 6th on this list, like does his thing, but ain't all that. But then he went on that just
no. I said 2 weeks ago he would have probably been my number one.
Well, a little longer than that. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Well,
yeah, like before he went on like those 11 straight
so basically
games
before the All-Star. Before the All-Star game. I mean,
before that he probably would have been like mid, but
every game's been a 3-point contest for him.
For real, bro. I mean, the dude's probably averaging like this month. He's probably averaging like 9 threes a game, which is average. Like, that's nuts. Yeah. Like it's nuts, bro. Unheard of,
bro. Yeah, I didn't do a top 10. Bro. But yeah, I'm wearing Portland for a reason, man. Shout out once again to the Portland Trailblazers, bro. Dame should be up there, man. But I'm having a hard time because I'm torn between that guy that should be MVP for me, Dame again, because I get tired of hearing that story. I don't get tired of hearing the story because it's facts. Like it's like this guy's MVP caliber, but it's like there's always somebody like he's in the shadow of winning the MVP, and it's just like he just doesn't get enough credit. He's still disrespected. But then at the same time, I'm like, bro, I got to give CP3 some love. So I want to put him above Dame, but I kind of want to talk about them both back and forth. But I'm going in on CP3 because, I mean, the numbers there, like, yeah, you want to focus on what's happening this season as far as what this player is contributing to the team. And yeah, that's obvious. So you're considering that, but then I also want to consider where he came from. Anytime a player can switch a team, like there's not too many guys that do this. You change a team by joining them, like in the first season, you go and join them the first season and you instantly change how that team operates. Yeah, the Phoenix Suns already had Devin Booker, they already had Ayton, and those guys were prone to get better at some point in their game, each season, hopefully. But that's a drastic change. And I'm not talking about Kawhi Leonard to the Toronto Raptors, even though they won with him, but there was other factors involved there. I'm talking like not even Kevin Durant to the Golden State Warriors. Like, yeah, that boosted your chance, but where they were at. Like, I'm talking like a LeBron level. Like, I'm sorry I have to say that. Like, LeBron James from Miami to Cleveland, like that level. Like, to do that, that's what's happening right here as far as what we could see so far. Yeah, we haven't even started the playoffs, so, anything could happen there. But, I mean, the Utah Jazz are like holding down the number one spot forever. I mean, if Donovan Mitchell wasn't hurt, he'd be on this list for sure. He'd be higher than Rudy Gobert, in my opinion. He'd probably be borderline 5, like, to be honest, like, just because you could contribute that to Donovan Mitchell. And then, like you said, sometimes when players go out or get hurt and their team is still carrying forward with wins, and it kind of takes away from the effect of, okay, well, how much is that guy contributing? You might have to dig deeper into analytics to prove your point. But yeah, CP3, we saw the games back, a few months ago when Devin Booker was out, and they went on a run there where they were losing a few games, I think. And CP3, being the leader that he is, he had to step up and tell the team, like, dude, we can't be doing this. Like, that's not what we do. We need to straighten up, basically. And he said that, and he did that. Like, they started winning games again, like going on the streak there. I mean, that's leadership. That's valuable. Like, how do you prove your value outside of, look, this is where the team was last year. I think you have to consider that. And this is what I've added to this team. You can easily do the opposite if somebody was that bad of a player and they come to the team and negatively affect the team. Like, this is just the inverse of that. Like, he's coming to the team and the team is just that much better. So if they already had talent, their talent greatly improved because, like I said before, he is a floor general. So that just doesn't mean that, okay, you're bringing in this talent and a player individually. No, he's also making everybody around him on that team better. And that's why, like, I think he should be highly considered for MVP. Plus, he's doing this at age 36. I think that's how old he is now. Like, this is crazy. He's never won one, so that'd be an interesting story too. And like I said, this has basically been his greatest team he's had since he's been in the NBA. But we know he's contributed to this a lot. Plus, he's representing State Farm. Like, that counts for something, right? And shout out, I mean, they brought back Cliff Paul. Like, I missed that. Like, I remember the original commercials with Cliff Paul. You probably don't know what I'm talking about.
Not really.
That's that Gen Z for you, but it's okay. Look it up. Look it up. But yeah, man, I mean, and Dame, man, go back to Dame, go back to Portland. He's just been consistent. It's just Mr. Consistency. I don't know if that's what we'll call him after, like, the time. He's always on time. Like, that's probably what's going to be the spinoff of his nickname, Dame Time, when it comes to his NBA nickname, Dame Dollar, his rap name. But just, he's always on time. I mean, he's always that dude, fourth quarter big, leading the team in scoring. But like, he just does it. He just does what he needs to do, and he brings it every night. Like, you want to talk about Steph Curry, like, this is the other guy. This is Dame Lillard that we're talking about, the other guy in the West that's basically like Steph Curry for another team. I mean, it's logo Lillard, man. I just watched another highlight the other night. Like, this is nothing for the dude. Like, he wants that shot every night. It's the logo. I'll do it on your logo. Like, dude, that's cold, bro. That's cold right there. Like, that dude has heart, like, plenty of it. So, I mean, I wouldn't be mad if he got MVP. Like, I'm looking at it and I'm like, some odd reason Jokic doesn't get the votes. And they just like, you know what, we're going to give it to Dame. I wouldn't be mad at that either. I mean, yeah, I think people would be shocked, like, man, Jokic didn't get it. But I think a lot of people would also look at it as, well, Jokic still has more opportunity. Dame's never gotten it. It's almost like when, in my opinion, like when James Harden got his first one and his only one, because I think he only won one. But yeah, I mean, man, between Dame and CP3, I don't know, man. I kind of want to flip a coin. Like, I can really argue both sides, but I'm leaning more towards to CP3 just because they're number one, man. They're number one. He's done it with and without Booker, and he's just making that team look that much better. Like, man, that's crazy. Like, they were creeping up, because most of the time when we were talking during this podcast, the recordings that we've done over the last couple months, they were like, what, number 3, number 2, maybe. 2, but then there was like a good sized gap there. So they didn't let off the gas at all. They didn't fall down. They didn't stay where they were at. It's like they're not happy. Like, and that's what I like, that chip on the shoulder. And the same thing with Dame. Dame always plays with the chip on the shoulder. And the whole Portland Trailblazers, like, they're actually looking very, very good. And I can't wait to talk about them when we go into the playoffs, bro. And, like, just break down that. I don't know. I don't have any more else to say because I'm just leaning right back to those guys. Anybody else you want to mention? You said you had Julius Randle up further than where he was at on the list. You had him at 5 instead of 8. Yeah, man. Shout out to the New York Knicks. I mean, I know Stephen A is going crazy over there with him, but I mean, that's crazy. Him being on the list, and then for you personally, top 5 on your list. I mean, that's another thing you could point at. Like, okay, why are the New York Knicks winning? I think part of it is the coaching situation that they have there and him being able to use all the pieces together. But yeah, Julius Randle, especially with one of your starters out, like Mitchell Robinson. I mean, yeah, he wasn't a big contributor offensively, but defensively he helped out a lot. So you're possibly having to carry more offensive load to make up for your lack of defensive ability. That's crazy. Like, I like that. I like that you moved them up because that shows much appreciation, much respect there for what he's doing. First time All-Star, won't be the last. Keeps this up for sure.
I told you I respected him. that day you got into me with it about the Knicks on here. I told you I respect the Knicks.
Yeah, bro. I'm glad I changed your mind. Just like we talked about cheeses being flat goldfish. Once again, put that in the comments if you're listening to this. We haven't got any comments on this. Are Cheez-Its flat goldfish?
Yeah, people are, oh my God. Yeah, I mean, I want to touch on what you were talking about a little bit. If I'm looking at CP3 and Dame, I probably got to put CP3 ahead of him too. But I agree with you that I think Dame deserves one, at least at one point in his career. I just think, he's been consistent. He's been, elite ever since I can remember. I mean, I don't know, bro. It's just, I don't want to say like he don't do enough because he does everything and Portland wins. But I mean, like yesterday they played, right? McCollum was a leading scorer. So that's one thing issue I have is I know most of the time he's their leading scorer, but it's like McCollum can step up and carry the team too if he needs to. So it's just like, I don't know. I would love for Dame to get it. I agree with you, but
the leading scorer if they can contribute in other ways. And that's part of why I boosted CP3 up. It's because, okay, we know he doesn't always score in the 20s. That's fine. It's whatever else he's doing, which is a lot. He does a lot.
Yeah. And for Dame to be, averaging 28 points and then, close to 8 assists is impressive. He's dishing the ball up, but I just mean, he pulls up from the logo, but it's just like he plays amazing every night, but it's like, to me, he just never has every now and then, like game 7 against OKC, he stood out there, but like, he just don't have a lot of what I'm saying? Like with Curry, bro, like he'll go on that like long spree and break all them records. And it's like, Dame's just like right behind. He's just like, in my opinion, he's just like in Curry's shadow, in my opinion, because they do a lot of the same stuff, but it's just like Curry gets all the hype about it, shooting from half court and all that stuff. And Dame, you might see a clip or two on ESPN every now and then. But I mean, if Curry does it, it's on Sports Center, ESPN, Bleacher Report, NBA, it's everywhere, and I just feel like Dame is just
right. I mean, ESPN, they don't run them enough. I see more of Damian Lillard when I watch Hulu commercials.
But yeah, so I mean, I definitely would like for Dame to get at least one before he retires. I think he deserves it.
Happen? Is this the season though? Like, because
I don't think it's the season. I don't think it's this season.
Could have won it.
He's like consistently like always in the on the list, but it's like he's never. There's always somebody a little better, in my opinion, with Dame. And I love Dame to death, man. I love his rapping. To be honest with you, I got a bunch of his music. I listen to him all the time. But I mean, I love the dude just in general. But I don't know. I'd love to see him get one like you, but I mean, it always seems like he's so consistent, like you said. But it's just there's always a couple people that are better with it. Like,
where are they ranked at? Where are they ranked?
Who? Portland?
Yeah, where are they at right now?
I saw they lost today or something, or the Lakers won or something. They were 6th. Now they are down to 7th.
I was about to say, if they can come up to 5, if they can finish the season at 5, potentially 4, you could definitely make the argument that Dame could strongly be MVP because of them being that high up in the Western Conference, especially with CJ missing a chunk of time. Obviously, having him does better, but you can also make the claim that because he is the solo all-star on the team, like McCollum was playing at an all-star level. Like, this is a guy that should be an all-star next year, could have been an all-star this year if he wasn't injured. But technically, you could say he was the only all-star, and they're sitting right here in the West. Whereas if you look at Utah Jazz, they had 2 all-stars. You look at, come on, Hugh. I'm drawing a blank here. The other team, in the Phoenix Suns. Dang, bro. They're the other team that had 2 all-stars right there.
Yeah.
Devin Booker and Chris Paul. I mean, Jokic, obviously, we already took him out of the equation. He was basically solo all-star. Jamal Murray didn't make it. But yeah, I mean, if he could be 4, then you could make the case that, yeah, he's a strong backing to be number 2 behind Jokic, potentially like 2 or 3. But let me ask you this.
What about Embiid? You ain't saying much about Embiid or Giannis. Both of them, to be honest.
You kind of said what you needed to be said, and I don't want to ride I would say Embiid was my MVP before he got hurt, before he missed that chunk of time. Like, I would have been like, it's Embiid. Like, and I felt like the race was definitely closer then. And that was even when LeBron was playing. I was like, dude, Embiid, man, he's looking pretty good. But I mean, things happen. I want to get to that. But let's just take Jokic out because he's been like the one guy that's consistently been winning, carrying the team as a solo all-star, and also haven't missed games. So like he's got things that aren't stacked against him. How close or how wide open is this race if you took out Jokic? Or even if you add Jokic, like, is it still a close race? If you look at, well, the top three are like basically bigs, Jokic and Embiid and Antetokounmpo according to the NBA list. Like, what do you think of that? Following up number 4, Chris Paul. Like how is this close? Like, is this a pretty close race since what we've seen the last couple of years? What horse do you have in your stable? I've been wanting to ask you that.
I was just thinking. No, I think Jokic got it, to be honest. But I will say this: if Denver maybe at some point this season starts a little bit of a slide, I know it ain't happened yet. I know they're third now in the West, I think. So I mean, they're just moving up. But I mean, if they start a little slide, or maybe Jokic misses a few games, or maybe he just goes through a mini slump or something like that, I could see Embiid making a run. But I mean, as of things stand right now, if things just continue on what they are, I think it's not that far away. Like I think you have arguments for Embiid and Giannis and those top few guys right there, but I think it's Jokic's race to lose at this point.
So do you think it's all going to come down to seeding? Like, what if Chris Paul keeps Phoenix at number 1? Like they lock up number 1. Like, how impressive is that? Because that's the end of the regular season, right? So everything in the regular season counts.
That is impressive, but I mean, I would still, Jokic, they started out the year terrible, and they just, as the season went on, got better and better and better, and then they lose Jamal Murray, and you're like, oh man, they're gonna start reeling. Nope, they're actually gaining. So like, you know what I'm saying? Like getting
let me do a what if past the Clippers. That's true. That's true. What if, because of this is supposed to be an award based off the regular season, what if Jokic gets this and they lose the first round? Like, does that change how you think about him being MVP? Or do you think it's like,
no, because I think Giannis deserves. I think Giannis deserved the last two.
Jamal Murray.
I said no, not really. Well, that's another thing to look at too. I mean, it's regular season, MVP, and going in the playoffs 7-game series are different, and you don't have Jamal Murray, you're like your sidekick. So I do think that matters. But I mean, I don't think that changes much in my opinion. I mean, like Antetokounmpo, I thought he deserved it the last 2 years, and we know what's happened to them in the playoffs the last 2 years. But I still think he was deserving of it.
Okay, that's fair.
I mean, teams are hot. Like in the playoffs, teams are hot, bro. It's all matchup based. He's just one dude. He can't stop a whole team.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he is only one dude. I just wanted to know from your perspective if that would change anything. But yeah, you're absolutely right. That's how playoffs work, and that's why you see teams that make it, and some teams that crumble because of that one strategy you used all regular season. They've learned it, and you've developed a pattern that is predictable.
Yeah, like somebody to touch on, like a great example for that is like Curry. Like I was just talking so highly on Curry. I think he deserves to be at least talked about, as an MVP this year. But I mean, do I expect him to go into a 7-game series with basically any other team in the West and win? No, to be honest, I don't. But I mean, just regular season, I think is different. And like, that's just how I see the MVP.
Okay. I'm trying to think of what else we can cover here.
Injuries.
Well, yeah, injuries. And then was there anybody else on the list or should have been on the list as far as the top 10? Like I mentioned Donovan Mitchell, but that once again, that kind of ties in with the injuries. So
are we talking about injuries here? Okay.
All right. Is there anybody, before we talk about injuries, is there anybody else that should have been on the list in the top 10? I mean, I know you had your top 10, but like health-wise, that are healthy enough to qualify, are you cool with this list? Like, obviously, we're talking like Devin Booker here. Like, is there anybody replacing him as number 10 or something like that?
Yeah, like on mine, I took out Gobert and I took out Booker and I put in Westbrook and Kawhi.
Yeah, like I think.
But I mean, I think my 10 should be. I know you probably don't agree with Kawhi, but
I mean, if they're sitting up. Man, if they were just higher up, man, I feel like Russell Westbrook should be top 5. But I mean, with his
Bro,
stats
he ain't
alone,
even on their list, bro. He
I
ain't even
mean,
on
I
their
know
list.
that's terrible, bro.
They
With
got
this
Devin
stats
Booker on
alone,
there.
he's putting up big man stats. If you're averaging a triple double, I mean, put him at number 3, bro. Like for real. Jokic, Embiid, Russ. No. That's tough. All right, let me just go ahead and give you one. Like Jokic, Chris Paul, Dame, Russ.
Where the hell is Steph Curry?
5. Hey, it's a guards race. I'm putting him on there. He's 5. I just didn't say 5 yet. Yeah, so there you go.
Bro, 5.
Jokic, Chris Paul, Lillard, Russ, Steph. All right. I'll switch it. I'll switch it for
agree
you.
with that. Just switch
Steph
Curry and
and
Dame.
Russ. Steph. Huh? Curry and Dame?
Yeah,
I'll switch Russ
switch
and
them.
Curry. Russ and Curry.
So what, Curry 3rd?
Okay, all right, let's go. Okay,
That
all right.
I mean,
Start over. Wait a minute. I think you're gonna like this one now. Russell Westbrook, Jokic.
Where?
Okay, all right. Hold on. I'm getting it.
At 1?
Number 1, Russell Westbrook. Number 2, Chris Paul. Number 3, Damian Lillard. Number 4, Steph Curry. Number 5, Jokic.
I want what this man's smoking. I'll tell you that, man. What you got? What?
It's pollen because my allergies have been terrible, bro.
DT, come on, bro.
No, bro. Because you know what? I focus so much on the West, and let's not forget, where were the Wizards the last season?
Yeah.
2, 3.
Okay, then what about the Knicks? All you've been talking about is the Knicks' biggest surprise. Why ain't Randall in there?
Yeah. It's okay. He's not. I said 5, bro. I gave him top 5. I'm putting Russ up there, man. Just let me have this one.
Okay.
It's Russell Westbrook.
This ain't a debate. Yeah.
It's Russell Westbrook, bro. I mean, look at the numbers. Like this is the guy where I have to throw in the numbers. But yeah, I mean, where they started out was terrible. I mean, obviously they were terrible before they got him, and then they just didn't look like they were going to make the playoffs. When we started doing the podcast, we thought they should be higher. It's like, man, they're not going to make it now. But now what he's doing, and they're making the playoffs, it looks like, or the play-in tournament. I mean, I wish they could factor in, the play-in tournament, but that wouldn't be fair, to see if they actually make it as like an 8th or 7th spot. I mean, all right, let's say they move up. I don't even know how close it is. If they move up some more, I mean, that's an argument right there too. I mean, yeah, you're right. You can argue Julius Randle, but I mean, Russell Westbrook wasn't even an all-star this year, bro. So, I mean, he's motivated. I just like it. I mean, but the numbers, they're historical. So if you argue parts of CP3 contributing to a team, if you're arguing consistency, which is what Damian Lillard brings, because yeah, even though Russell Westbrook can shoot bad percentages, but he's averaging a triple double, so that's consistency somewhere. And then if you're talking about historical purposes, which is what you're talking about with Steph, he's got that. He's got all 3 of those things going for him right now. So I mean, I just wanted to throw that out there. I mean, that's a lot going on there.
Fair enough.
I mean, that's just my argument. Yeah, it doesn't.
What about
if
you
saw an article tomorrow, Russell Westbrook, leader of the NBA Kia MVP award race, it'd be like, whoa. But I mean, like I said, I can make an argument for it. There's no joke. But I mean, the way this works, though, each writer, media person, whoever does the voting, which is the media, they get 1 vote. Like, I don't think they do. Basically, okay, well, if I put this guy number 1, this guy number 2, this guy number 3, like they each get X amount of percentage of a vote. No, you put down 1 name. I mean, that's how Steph Curry got unanimous MVP, because everybody's looking at, okay, these guys are great, but he stands out the most. Like, you put down 1 name. So yeah, Russ might not get any votes, but like I said, I can make an argument for it.
What do you think about Kawhi? Me putting him at 10. You think he should be top 10 or no?
Did I mention Kawhi?
Well, no, I'm just asking what your opinion of me putting him on it. Well, I did. I looked up both their stats, but Kawhi's averaging a little better in every category. Well, I mean, actually, you want to know something? They're averaging.
Who's contributing more to the team, though? I mean, who played more games this season? I'm just going to put it at that. On who would make my list? Who played more games?
Probably PG.
Who played more games?
I'm sure
give it to
PG.
PG then. Just give it to PG then.
Okay. I knew you probably wouldn't like that. Okay.
I respect Kawhi.
All right, let's talk. Let's talk.
I just don't keep up with him.
Let's talk about injuries then.
All right, what about it, bro?
All right. So you.
Oh yeah,
you
the
wanted to have
injuries. I mean,
a talk about if injuries didn't happen, like what what people would be on this list. Like I got three just right off the bat. I think KD, Harden, and LeBron would all be on it.
KD, Harden, LeBron. That's right. Yeah, Harden was way up there. He was
Harden,
way up there on his personal list.
People were talking about him first. Like
He was
talking about him first. Before, I mean, then he just got hurt and ruined all that. But
I mean, I think honestly, if Harden was up there number one, I probably would argue against that because I'd be like, you got too much going on. But that spell there for that month or month and a half where it was just him, like that was legit. That was legit because it's like, bro, you make Joe Ingles look good. I mean, no offense. He's good at being a scorer, but like a shooter. But you know what I mean? Like you're not working with the whole lot.
Whoa.
Okay, Bruce Brown. I'll give you Bruce Brown.
You said Joe Ingles.
Oh yeah, Joe Ingles. Yeah, Joe Harris. My bad, because Joe Harris is like a poor man's Joe Ingles.
Oh, shaking my head.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Then, yeah, you get the poor version of Joe Ingles, and not his cousin from the Warriors, but Joe Ingles from the Jazz. The poor version is Joe Harris. My bad.
No, that's
shut up, UVA.
But and then I have appreciate that. And then I just have KD and LeBron because both of them if they were healthy all season balling, I'm sure both of them would easily be on this list. That's something to think about, bro. Both of them were healthy balling. Like LeBron and KD would be on this list at some point, and then it's like, man, who would be knocked off? If that was the case, and it's would Jokic be first? I mean, maybe maybe LeBron be first, maybe KD.
Okay, if we're talking about
you never know
injuries as well, because we're talking about guys who's not on the list completely because one, some of these guys don't even qualify because they miss way too many games. But I mean, yeah, if you turn injuries off, I hate to say that because then it changes everything. But just the lack of injuries and like Embiid would probably be number one for me.
Yeah, but I mean, then we don't know how well KD or LeBron could have been balling.
I mean, okay, for KD, it's not all injury for him, and as much as it is for LeBron, like LeBron's got that injury and KD has some injury, but some of KD's is rest. Like I see that as totally different. Like you either have an injury or you're just like your coach is kind of sitting you out because
he was hurt.
Feel like you need extra recovery than normal. Like
LeBron Anthony Davis.
Like LeBron had that recovery game today. Like let's just say it. LeBron's recovery game was today, Monday, May 3rd. That was his recovery game because he didn't want to go out there, obviously get hurt again, and only score like 3 points, like less than 10 points. Like his record's gone. You know what I mean? Like I'm just going to throw that out there. Like there's times where it's just the rest is the rest. Like there's no joke. Like okay, like why would you put Kyrie on the list?
I didn't say Kyrie.
I know you didn't. Exactly. I know you didn't. Kyrie's out for other things. So, but yeah, I mean, I know KD had an injury, but at the same time, it's the Brooklyn Nets. It'd be like hard to argue because it's like unless he's doing something extraordinary different than Harden.
People were talking about Harden being MVP. He's on Brooklyn.
Yeah, but he actually had an injury. Like I could tell you going into this season,
KD didn't have an injury.
I could have told you going into this season, and I'm sure I have, that KD's going to get rested. He didn't play at all last season. There's going to be times where he just gets rest, and they're going to cover it up as an injury because they don't really need him when you added Harden. They didn't need him.
Nah, hey people, all D said at the beginning of this year, Curry go hurt his ankle. Curry go keep trying too much to hurt his ankle. That ain't happening.
That ain't happened, but Hugh, if the listeners don't know, they will find out. You are a terrible sports jinx. I hope nothing happens to Curry. Bro, that would be just so terrible. Like, don't speak on that because you're saying it like, oh, yeah, it's not happening.
Not gonna win.
There's still there's still games to be played, bro. That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying from a fantasy perspective because, we play fantasy. I could be wrong. I was wrong. Like, yeah, Curry's having MVP season, and I expected him to perform well in the games he played, I just didn't expect him to have this many games under his belt because I didn't realize he had bulked up that much, to be honest. I was like, if Curry's playing Curry style basketball and the teams are like, that's the one guy you got to watch out for, they're going to play him extra heavy without the extra help on the perimeter. That's all I was factoring in. I didn't really realize he bulked up that much. But yeah,
I noticed watching the game today. He shaved his head. It's like buzz cut Curry again. He ain't got the little dreads and nothing like that no more. He like just shave that stuff right off, looking like old school.
Yeah, he wanted to look like the unanimous MVP. So I don't like it. I like the other way. I like the fresh way. Something new. It's all good though.
Don't do they do you?
For real though. I like that. Oh yeah. So anybody else on the list? You said KD, LeBron, Harden.
Yeah, that's what I said. Another one, a good one you brought up was Donovan Mitchell. He probably wouldn't be top 5 for me. He'd probably be, probably somewhere around Luka, maybe around 8, something like that. But I mean, I do think he was going
consistently being disrespected.
How well?
I mean, if he was playing like, if he was playing, bro, they would be number 1 still.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you could argue that too for him. Like, that's how much he contributed. Like, yeah, obviously they still could win games or winning games, but obviously they've lost some games if they're not sitting at number 1.
I mean, but if you want to say that, use that aspect. Okay, Curry, if he wasn't playing, the Warriors would probably have a worse record than Detroit.
And that's why he's on the list. That's why he's on the list.
So if we want to talk about him being,
that's why he's on the list.
But I mean, Donovan Mitchell wasn't putting up Curry like numbers. He wasn't breaking Curry's, or he wasn't breaking records like Curry was. You know what I mean? I do get I know what he means to his team. But then we know what Curry means to the Warriors, but it's not just like, he's going out putting up, 25, 30 a game, keeping them in games. I mean, he's putting that whole team on his back. He's breaking records after records after records. And Donovan Mitchell, I mean, we know how important he is to the team, but it's like he ain't doing all that.
See, it's crazy. Like I said before, like I perceive
valuable player in the league.
I perceive 2 different ways of how you can view how they could be MVP. How much they're carrying a team or how much they're making their team better. Is Steph Curry making his team better as an individual, or is he making his team better overall? Like Chris Paul does it overall. Steph Curry does it as an individual. Like Draymond Green makes his team better overall. He's not an MVP caliber player, but he contributes. Is it Steph Curry that made Kelly Oubre better? He opens the floor up. But there's times where you just need Steph Curry to be Steph. When you're watching those games early in the season, y'all were losing. Y'all were like closer to the bottom. It's like, where's Steph Curry at, right? Like that's what you're wanting to see. I mean, that makes him an MVP caliber because he can contribute that much. But at the same time, I also want to reflect on not just what he does individually on his own, but what he does to impact the rest of his teammates.
Okay.
Yeah, Draymond Green does.
We can stop talking about Curry so much. But yeah, put in.
See, I just don't. I mean, I don't want to bring up the past. I just don't see how Steph Curry got unanimous MVP with Klay Thompson being there, like unanimous. But that's past. Okay. I can't help that. It's over.
Haters go hate. But nah. Yeah, I mean, probably throw Donovan Mitchell in there for me. There's probably the guys. But I mean, see, you don't know if we had a healthy Harden, KD, and LeBron, all year, that might knock Mitchell out. I mean,
LeBron was like what?
Who knows? But
what was LeBron like? Top 3?
I say probably behind Embiid. It was probably Embiid, Jokic, and LeBron when he was healthy, probably.
And then, like, if KD would have played,
Curry wasn't balling the way he is now. So I mean, you don't know what would happen.
So I mean, yeah, it's just a big what if, I guess. Because I mean, you could have easily been like, all right, if KD was still hurt and Harden was still there and Kyrie was doing Kyrie stuff, it's like you could have been like Kyrie, Embiid, LeBron, Jokic. Stuff. I mean, I'm not trying to diss the dude, but I mean, Kyrie does Kyrie. We all know Kyrie does Kyrie stuff. I mean,
he got dope shoes.
I love his shoes. I love his handles. I don't disrespect him as a player, or I'm not trying to disrespect him as an individual. It's Kyrie. Kyrie is his own individual. Don't do they, do you. Like, that's straight up Kyrie right there. Yeah, like, there's only one Russell Westbrook in the league. There's only one Kyrie Irving in the league. Like, who else reminds you of Kyrie Irving? Who?
Nobody.
So that's what I mean. Like it'd be
You
like
know,
if I said,
I didn't know he was a Muslim.
it'd be
till
like if I
recently.
said like Steph Curry does Steph Curry things when he makes threes. Like you know what I mean by that. Like Steph Curry, his shimmy, his no look, like that's Steph Curry stuff.
Bro, I didn't know till recently that he was a Muslim.
Yeah,
Because he
I
said he was
mean,
doing
I'm not getting into
that.
politics, but he probably converted at some point. I mean, he's really deep into his heritage, which I respect that. That's his individuality, and he's not afraid to express that. I'm just talking about from a professional standpoint, not an individual, personal standpoint, but professionally. There's things that, like I said, Kyrie does Kyrie stuff, and you get what you get when it comes to whatever his mindset is pertaining to professionalism of being there for the games versus dealing with personal things. Like, I mean, I understand he fights for a cause and different things like that, but I'm sure there's a lot of NBA players that would rather focus attention on other things, and it just depends on how they pursue it or when they choose to pursue it. I mean, yeah, like I said, I don't want to get into all that, but yeah.
I feel you.
Yep.
You got any other players injury aside, or we cover about them all for you?
See, any other players injury aside? Hey, this is a wild one. Let me just throw this out here.
You better not say, okay.
All right, let me hear what you got.
I was just going to say, you better not going to say Jamal Murray.
That's your boy right there. No, because that would be injuries aside and COVID. I mean, not COVID, bubble fatigue aside. I don't want to go there because that's too many factors. That's one too many factors. No, I was going to throw this out there because you're saying injuries aside. I don't know if you see this coming from me. Karl-Anthony Towns, if he could have balled the whole season like he has been the last month, and the Timberwolves are like, that's an episode right there within itself, how the Timberwolves play. So I don't want to touch that because we might go into that. I think we will go into that. That's going to be on our next episode, episode 25. We're still going to do that big. Let's go for episode 25. But I just want to add him to this list because you say injuries aside.
Hey, I like that. I like
Karl-Anthony Towns, if he was balling like this all season long, no injuries, top 5 easy. Top 5. But looking at the MVP NBA list here, I mean, Jokic and Embiid, Antetokounmpo, 3 bigs, throwing a 4th big. Yeah, he can shake things up right there. And if they had made the playoffs, like been in that opportunity there to play in the play-in tournament, like end up in the 8th or 7th or 6th, yeah, he's in there. He's definitely in there, bro.
I respect that. I like that, bro. I wasn't expecting that, but I like
that. That would be the one guy that I didn't have on the list, didn't think about, and it just hit me when you asked me. Anybody else on the side because of injuries? Him. That would be the guy. He should be top 5 MVP caliber player every season. He's that good, and he's young enough to do it. He hasn't even peaked yet as far as his NBA prime age. He's not there yet. He's just that good. So yeah, shout out to Minnesota Timberwolves. Shout out to Moose, the only Timberwolves fan I know. I remember back in the day, I think it was a couple years ago, just a quick story on him. He went into the mall and he asked for a Timberwolves hat. He's like, and the guy was like, what? He's like, bro, we don't get any Timberwolves merchandise around here. He's like, you're the only guy that likes the Timberwolves that I know. And then he went somewhere else and was talking about the Timberwolves. Somebody's like, I like your shirt. He's like, yeah, it's the Timberwolves. What's that? Like, what is that? Karl-Anthony Towns is already there. He's like, what's that? So, I mean, that's what I'm saying, bro. Karl-Anthony Towns could definitely put Minnesota back on the map. He's got the opportunity, and it starts with him playing at an MVP caliber level and obviously staying healthy. You know, shout out to him and his family because I know they dealt with COVID and can't sometimes help that. And he recovered very well. So, yeah, I want to see. That gets into my last question. Wrap this up. Who is stepping up for next year? Wild predictions. How is this list going to vary or be different? You see anybody else stepping up or being added to the list? I've already mentioned Karl-Anthony Towns. I'm going to go ahead and say be top 5. I might even go ahead and tell you my MVP for next season, but I don't know if you want to hear that. You might not be ready. Doncic. It's his time, bro. Are you saying that right now? Hey, if he's already in the top 5 this season without a healthy Porzingis and the way they've come back into the playoff picture, like I said, bubble fatigue, it's a real thing, bro. Short off season and bubble fatigue right there. I mean, he was carrying the load, even though they only went, 6 games with the Clippers. I think he got 2 wins off him last season. Bro, watch out, man. Watch out. He's got to go easier on the techs, on racking up those techs. But next season, I'm telling you, bro, top 3, but he might finish up number 1 as the MVP next season for the league. Look at Jokic, bro.
I'm gonna say for me, it's a guy already on my list, but I see him next year being at least top 3 is Julius Randle.
Top 3. I like that. Moving on
I think
up,
he's only go get better.
I mean, I think that's a good argument because I don't know if they're bringing in any heavy pieces this offseason. They might have to wait another season, but we'll see. If they do bring in a heavy piece, it might be hard to argue that he should be that high because somebody else might take some of that shine away, depending if they get somebody like a Bradley Beal. Like, you know what I mean? If Bradley Beal comes over, then it might dilute that a little bit. Not that his game took a drop off, but just from perspective.
But yeah, that's
I like that though. I like that.
Yeah.
Or if Chris Paul or Chris Paul leaves after this season and takes the Detroit Pistons to the 4th spot in the East.
Hey, that's impressive. Actually, you know what? Give me. I'm gonna do a bold prediction too. Give me Randall top 3. You know, I'm gonna go ahead and say, I got MVP next year.
Who you got, bro?
Steph Curry. No, I'm joking. Not Steph Curry. Damian Lillard.
Dame Lillard. So if he don't get it this season, next season,
I'm gonna do it.
Dame time.
He gonna step up. Yeah.
Hey, just another wild prediction. CJ McCollum's gonna be an all-star next year too with him.
Well, that ain't really a bold prediction. I mean, he probably should have been.
You mean it's still tough in the West to get in, dude? Look,
Clay gets it when he's healthy. I mean, he's just like a Clay.
Okay, look, man, I'm just saying it's not easy for him to get it because not a lot of people mention McCollum. Look how hard it was for Donovan Mitchell to get in there. They were number 1 in the West at the time. Him and Rudy, man, like they got asked to be in because of injury to Anthony Davis. Like, bro, that's what I'm saying, man. Like it sounds like, yeah, he's putting up the numbers. The numbers don't mean anything when you're in the West. It's a popularity contest half the time because there's so many great players. It's not the East, it's the West.
I respect that.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. Like if he was in the East, he would have gotten it. He would have been basically like Jaylen Brown. And I'm not saying that he wasn't deserving because I think he did deserve it. But if Jaylen Brown was in the West, he wouldn't have made it.
Give me Tatum in the top 5 next year too.
Ooh, bro. Yes.
I contemplated him putting on this list, but for Kawhi's
wiping
spot,
out bigs, bro. We replaced like the whole top 5. Like it feels like the only person remaining is
Curry will still be on there. He'll still be top 5. Don't worry.
But he's not top 5 right now. According to this NBA list, he's 7. So I'm saying the only person
for me he is.
This top 5 is Doncic. So you Doncic, in any order, Doncic, Randall. I'm hearing Steph Curry, Tatum, and
Dame.
Who else? Dame. That's a whole different top 5 outside of Luka. That's a whole different top 5.
I mean, I'm sure it'll be LeBron next year.
I mean, yeah, halfway through the season, but LeBron hasn't won one since 2013, bro. So
been a while.
A long time. I mean, he had a great shot at it this season, but I think this season is dangerous. If he could have got them in the top 3, maybe number 2 in the West, he had a great shot. If he was over Jokic, he had a great shot at getting it.
Yeah. I feel you. My allergies are acting up.
That's the stuff I was smoking that you asked me about. I told you it's real, man. Like
you
don't even have to.
Over here, but...
There's nothing. It's just you go outside and it hits you. You probably got your window open. So shout out to
Colin.
I
just put them up a little bit ago.
Like it. I don't like the allergies. So
yeah, I feel you. But yeah,
all right,
that's about everything I got.
Give it all you got. Everything you got. Everything you got.
Everything I got. Nah, yeah, this is a fun episode. I like doing this. Hopefully, y'all enjoy listening to it. Sorry,
I don't think the listeners wanted to hear that. Hey, I'm sorry y'all listening to this with earbuds and you getting the audio only. Like, yeah, this dude's burning up over here. Hey, if you're watching the audio only on Anchor.fm or Spotify, Google Podcasts, or Pocket Cast, go to our YouTube page and watch this part of the video. This dude is being torn up right now on YouTube. KISH YZ. Give us a like and a subscribe and watch this guy just go. I don't know. You look like you turned into a goldfish. Once again, or goldfish or cheeses are flat goldfish. So.
Yeah, sorry about this. My nose just started running all of a sudden, and my throat
Your
started
face is starting to look like the color of your chair that you're sitting on, which is the same color as my shirt.
For real, bro. But yeah, sorry about that. But yeah, shout out all y'all, man. We appreciate all the support. What are you interrupting me for? I'm trying to get my outro here. I was just
gonna say, yeah, I'm gonna let you wrap it up so you can.
Well, that's what I was doing.
Or maybe I'll just keep you on here. Okay.
Hey, if you're not subscribed, be sure to give me a sub. No tomatoes. And hey y'all, if you give me a sub and you give me a sub, you can bring me some Benadryl too. I could definitely use that a little more than a sub right now.
Is getting delusional on here, and I know the feeling when I get these allergies. I feel like I'm on drugs, man. Like I just started I get loopy too, bro. Like man, over here in the valley, you get messed up with allergies. Like it gets trapped. It's like being in West Virginia with the coal mine, I guess you could maybe compare. Like it's everywhere. People probably like, why y'all live there? This is where we're at. So you take it or leave it, but it's everywhere. Like everywhere. I remember meeting somebody back in school, and they were from Idaho or something like that. Minnesota, I think, somewhere over there.
Oh, potatoes, huh? They like potatoes.
Yeah, potatoes. And they were now here. And they were like, yeah, y'all get that stuff in the in the spring and summer, like that yellow stuff that covers your car. Like, what is that? It's like, that's pollen. Like, yeah, we don't get that over there. So shout out to the people who don't get that.
Yeah, they get freaking droughts and stuff over there.
Yeah,
they get droughts and tornadoes and stuff over there.
Yeah, shout out to Virginia.
I'll take the pollen.
Shout out to Virginia. That's our state, and we get the 4 seasons here. That's for sure. We get humidity, we get spring, we get rain, wind, sun. I mean, we get everything. We get to experience the full seasons over here. Like I feel like I want to do a podcast on just that, like advertise, like, hey, this is what you see. Like we get the fall leaf change colors. Like it's beautiful here. Every season we get snow here, not a whole lot sometimes, but just enough to make you feel like, okay, when it's winter, when it's Christmas time, I mean, every season is like great here. Like it feels like a true season, like what you feel like or see in like a movie or a TV show, like a fairy tale or something. Like 4th of July is like your summertime feel. Like you got the humidity, you got the heat, you got the grills going, and you in the spring you got the cherry blossoms. You just got everything here, bro. Everything.
Yeah, it blew my mind.
We don't really get too many tornadoes, though, thank goodness.
Nah, not very many of them.
We get those winds, though. We don't get hurricanes, so we don't get the hurricanes. Flooding, it's hit or miss, but it's not a yearly thing. It's just like out of the blue kind of thing. Yeah, if y'all watching this, like, just come to Virginia sometimes, like, for real. Like, I love the fall here. I mean, I like every season. I can't lie, bro. But pollen, yeah, if you're not used to that stuff, yeah, you'll find out if you're allergic to it or not if you come down here during this time of year.
Yeah, it blew my mind one time. I went to Disney World when I was younger, and a dude, our cab driver, was like 30-something. He was like, I ain't never seen snow. I was like, wow. But like I get it, everybody's from different places, but it just blew my mind at the time because I was like, bro, we see snow. Like you said, not a lot, but we get it like consistently. Like we'll always get some, but just every now and then, we'll get like a massive like 2 foot amount of snow, but usually it's just a few inches here and there. But yeah, and me and D we live right next to the Blue Ridge Mountains, so it's beautiful in the spring when the trees are blooming. I actually went through there a couple weekends ago, driving up through them, and it's just beautiful. It's something that I definitely take for granted, living this close to it. But yeah, and then the fall, seeing the leaves fall and all that stuff, it's definitely beautiful up here. So definitely, don't
shout out to anybody
appreciate
who
it enough as I should,
because we have part of the what did you call it? Skyline Drive. Was that?
Yeah.
That's part of the Appalachian
Blue Ridge Parkway.
Trail.
Yeah, Blue Ridge Park, all that. Yeah.
Yeah, Blue Ridge Parkway. Like when we say Blue Ridge Mountains, like if you ever heard of that, you can Google it. Like the mountains look blue, and like they're not that far away from you, and they could still look blue. Like you're talking about like maybe within 5 miles, and they still look blue, and it's dope. It's dope. We have an overpass off the interstate too. You can look down off the other side, like right off to the Piedmont area, out of the Shenandoah Valley. Like it's crazy. There's a lot going on over here.
Yeah, you need to put in the tag when you post this something about describing Virginia's seasons. Because the last like 10 minutes.
Virginia. I mean, we got caverns. We have not to get political. We got Civil War stuff over here because it's just historic. I mean,
yeah, I got my issues with Virginia, but I mean, it is where we live is beautiful, but Virginia as a whole, it has its moments, but yeah, it's definitely beautiful where we live. I will say that. Fishing, a lot of fishing, if you're into that, a lot of hunting. I mean, all kinds of nature. We got a national forest all around us. I mean, yeah, with all kinds of lakes and streams and rivers and bears and deer, all the deer you can imagine. Yeah, all kinds.
We got like wildlife and stuff, like where, you know, like where they say like mountain lions and stuff. People say we don't have Black Panthers, but there's some people that say we do.
Hey, I've seen one. The one was in our freaking yard one time, bro.
A Black Panther or a mountain lion?
I think it wasn't a mountain lion. I don't live on a mountain, but it was something. It was a cat. It was a black. No, not like a little house cat. It was a big cat. It was a big cat at night because it got near our porch. We heard something in the trash. Then the dude, it ain't a raccoon or nothing. It was a big because it ran off, but then it stopped and we saw his eyes. But all you could see was his eyes. We had a flashlight. All you could see was his eyes, but it was like big.
Hey, I don't think we have Bigfoots over here, but we got everything else. We got everything else. It was probably a cow.
Hey, they say it's haunted around here too, some places. So a little bit of everything.
I mean, yeah, if you're into that stuff, we know a guy from work. Marty, I don't know his last name. Shout out to Marty, man. We need to get Marty to watch this because he likes basketball, bro. But I know he likes a lot of college basketball. Yeah, man, him and Earl. Yo, shout out to Marty and Earl. We gotta get you out here. Hey, we got cards. We'll give y'all a card. But yeah, I mean, he does this haunted tour trails around here. Like, I mean, I don't know why we're advertising Virginia so heavy, but hey, we got corn over here. We got corn mazes.
We got a beach. We got a beach. We got amusement parks, bro. We got
Neptune.
We got everything.
Neptune Festival. And if you've never heard of the Neptune Festival, but if you heard of the Neptunes, aka you know the group NERD, you know that the Neptune sound that from their production company. We got Pharrell, like you said, yeah, Grammy award-winning Pharrell. I don't know. Are we saying all this just so we can tag all of this?
Chris
Breezy.
Missy
Timbaland.
Yeah, we got Virginia, man. It's kind of like underrated. Like people, like I talked to people before, and they said I live in Virginia. I remember I was talking to this girl one time. She asked where I live. She's from like Cali or like a big state like that, and I said Virginia. Her response is like, "LOL, what's in Virginia?" But I was like, bro, it's kind of like underrated, everything. Bro. Like,
hey, Lil Dicky,
it's a little bit of everything.
To Richmond, bro. He went to school in Richmond. Lil Dicky, college.
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, we have some bad stuff too. We've had like, things happen here with shootings and stuff. But I mean, yeah.
But hey, a lot of that stuff is like up north. Like we live in like the extremely rural area. Like we're nowhere near. I mean, we're like a couple hours from like Richmond, and 3 hours from DC. Like we're not really in there. We live in like a different. Like out in the sticks, pretty much. Those people would call it like we live out in the country.
Hey, that's you.
Compared to that stuff. I live more in the sticks than he does, but we're only like 20 minutes apart. We definitely.
Hey, there's if you go further out, there's a county that has a maple festival. You get fresh maple like donuts and stuff. I've never been to it. Like now we're getting deep. We got caverns over here. Like we got caverns. I might already mention that.
Smack. The best donuts I've ever had, bro. You ain't never had
the caverns, bro. Hey, we got Natural Bridge over here. Like it's a natural bridge. It's like what is that?
We got a bunch of
Natural
caverns,
Bridge. Google Natural
We
Bridge.
got a bunch of caverns.
We got a bunch of caverns, bro.
I used
We
to
got
go to them all the
everything
time,
here,
bro.
man. I mean, we got a lot, bro. We got a lot when it comes to cultural people throughout Virginia, and just it's a mixture here. Like Virginia's real. Like yeah, you get a little bit of everything here. You just gotta go find it. Like that's really the bottom line, is you just gotta go find it.
Yep. That's enough though. I've already said my outro, so have a good night, everybody.
Yeah, I don't know what your outro was, so please say it again. Once again, our
I
cheese
don't
is
want to say it again.
That's your outro.
I ain't feeling good.
Oh yeah, I know. Hey,
I
give
just
a
said
shout
bring
out.
some Benadryl.
Anybody, anything else you want to shout out?
Mm-hmm.
Dang, you sound like one of them cows that we got around here. We got
I
like
don't
Texas
know who to
Longhorns
shout
and
out.
stuff people get. Like we got a lot of cow pasture out here too.
Shout out our 35th sub. I don't know who it was, but shout out you. My dad was 34, but yeah, we got a 35th.
Yeah,
May 1st,
thank
you
you.
said, so you donated $35. But yeah, shout out to the 35th, whoever you are. Hope you enjoy the videos.
I would also like to give a shout out to 36 because I don't know who that is yet.
Oh, we got
but if
36
that's
now?
you. Hey, if no. I'm saying if that's you.
Oh,
Hey, shout out. Put in the
bet.
comments if that's you. If you watching this, you want to be 36, put in the comments. Shout out to 36. I don't know who number 36 is. You know, it's like the dating game for you. Door number 1, door number 2, door number 36.
Yeah. Can't wait till we get to 42. I'm gonna bring up 42, dog.
What? The relevance is crazy
21
right
Savage.
now. This dude actually needs some type of over-the-counter drug because of the delusional sense that he's making over here is terrible. But yeah, pollen's no joke here. So yeah, shout out to Virginia. Shout out to virginia.org. Like and subscribe. This has been Kicking in the Second Half. KISH YZ with D and Hugh.
Shout out University of Virginia. Have a good night, everybody.
There's a lot of universities here. Shout out to Virginia Tech as well. The rivalry.
Shout out UVA, University of Virginia.
Shout out to Virginia Tech. Hey, shout out to JMU. That's where I got my second COVID shot. That's on the IG. You can catch that. That's probably gone. I don't know what I did with it. Probably put it on the story.
You put it on your story.
Yep, that's gone. That's gone.
This bro goes, I don't know what I do with it. Hey, for anybody don't know, this man like 2 weeks into Instagram, he ain't never had one. So he puts a lot of stuff on his story. But I don't think he knows how to post it.
It's more than usual. It's all basketball related. You should be happy.
Yeah, you have one post about Karl-Anthony Towns. It's the only time you ever posted.
That was my first attempt at it, and I don't know how to do it again.
And you posted that and put it on your story. You had the same thing on both.
Oh, people don't do that?
No,
people
why
don't
would you do that? That's why you post
I'm a first then. Don't do they, do you. I live by that.
Well, have a good night, everybody. Appreciate y'all checking the video
thanks for kicking in the second half, everybody. Peace and love.
Shut up, man. Freaking video, bro.